everybody? What's going on? How y'all doing? Welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk, the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. I am your tour guide around the SWAC Seawells, and we are gonna take a look at the games that took place on Saturday, February 8th. We are in the second week of February, so we are making our way rapidly toward the end of the season. After Saturday's games, we have basically 8 games left on the schedule. So the conference schedule is wrapping up. SWAC tournament is right around the corner. So we'll take a look at all of these games and just kind of look at what went down. So with that being said, man, y'all check out those socials: Facebook at SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76, and that's where you can find anytime I drop a video. I pretty much post it there. If it's not, if you don't have notifications on, then you can find out what I'm dropping by checking my socials. Pretty more active on Twitter, so you can catch me there if you want to chop it up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, and share. And like I said, hit the notification bell to be alerted to when videos drop outside of the normal Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday schedule. Been dropping videos pretty much almost every day of the week, pretty much recently. So just keep it locked here with that notification bell, and you'll find out when that stuff drops. Um, Quick look at what's coming on the schedule. I think either Monday or Tuesday, I'll probably drop a. I'll probably start doing my schedule previews. I wanted to do it earlier, but I started putting it off since more schedules are starting to come down the line. So probably do one on Monday or Tuesday. Wednesday will be our fifth set of SWAC power rankings. Um, Also going to probably take a quick look at the women's standings in there. Um, Thursday, SWAC Smoke live 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, recap the action from the upcoming Saturday's games. Also, Monday, I have a short to give my picks for Monday's games, and Saturday, I have a short to give my picks for Saturday's games. So that's pretty much the schedule for the week. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Um, First game of the day that I'm going to cover was Jackson State beating Mississippi Valley by a score 92-44. Obviously, this game wasn't really close. It was a 40-21 game at the half. This game was tied up twice early, once at 5 and then once at 9, with about 15:46 left in the first half before Jackson State pulled away, and they never looked back. They outscored the Delta Devils 52-23 in the second half. Like I said, to pick up this big victory, almost a 50-point victory. Valley dropped to 3-20 and 1-9 in conference. Jackson State improved to 7-16 and 7-3 in conference. Valley was led by 3 players with 7 points, so they didn't have anybody scoring double figures in this game. Donovan Sanders had 7 points. He was 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. He also had 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal. Also, Moses Horn had 7 points off the bench, shooting 1 for 8 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and 4 for 4 from the line. He also had 1 rebound. And also, Jonathan Pace had 7 points off the bench on 2 of 4 shooting from the field, 3 or 4 from the line. He also had 5 rebounds for the team. They were led by Jair Horton with 6 rebounds on the night. Valley finished the night with 22 rebounds. Now they had 23 fouls. They had more fouls than rebounds. 6 assists, 14 turnovers, 1 block, and 2 steals. All of that's a recipe for a blowout loss. Shot 40% in the first half, 8 of 20, 6 of 25 in the second half for 24%, making them 14 of 45 for the game for 31%. They were 2 of 9 from 3 for the first half, 22%, 1 of 10 for the second half for 10%, making them 3 of 19 in the second half, 3 of 19 in the game for 15%. From the free throw line, they were 13-18 for the game for 72%, 3 of 6 in the first half for 50%, and 10 of 12 in the second half for 83%. Phillies with 20 points in the paint, 5 points off of turnovers, 7 second chance points, 3 fast break points, and 22 bench points. So basically half of their points came from their bench because they saw extended minutes with this game being out of reach basically for a whole half. Yeah, like I said, the game had 2 ties, no lead changes. Shannon Grant led Jackson State with 18 points. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. He was 7 of 7 from the field and 4 of 4 from the line. Also, they had 3 players with 12 points. Dorian McMillan had 12 points. He was 3 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. He was 4 of 4 from the line. He also had 3 rebounds and 2 steals. And Sean Ruffin had 12 points. 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from three, 3 of 3 from the line. He had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Also, Juan Reyna had 12 points. He was 3 of 3, 3 of 8 from the field, 3 of 7 from three, 3 of 5 from the line. He also had 5 rebounds. And they also had Dylan Cannaville with 10 points. He was 3 of 3 from the field and 4 of 8 from the line. He also had 11 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and also Tamaron Hoover had 10 points as well, 2 rebounds. He was 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from three, and did not attempt a free throw. So they had a pretty balanced scoring attack. Everybody that played basically scored except for a couple guys. So they were able to get some people on the floor. Were able to get guys out there to play and just kind of take care of business in this game. Pretty easy victory for the Tigers. They shot 53% in the first half, 15 to 28. They were 15 to 30 in the second half for 50%, putting them at 30 for 58 for the game for 51%. They were 3 of 8 from three in the first half for 37%, 7 of 14 in the second half for 50%, making them 10 of 22 for the game for 45%. They were 7 of 11 from the line in the first half for 63%, 15 of 22 in the second half for 68%, making them 22 of 33 for the game for 66%. They finished with 40 points in the paint, 24 points off of turnovers, 18 second chance points, 22 fast break points, 38 bench points. Their bench almost outscored Valley. Valley whole team basically beat Jackson State bench by 6 points. So this was just a thorough thrashing. Like I said, it was only close for a couple minutes early. Jackson State got on the run and never looked back. Second half, especially, they built that lead out really huge in the second half, and Valley just was stagnant and couldn't get back in the game. Now that takes us to our next game on the day. Staying in Mississippi, Pine Bluff would take the trip to the reservation to take on the Alcorn Braves, and the Golden Lions would come up short in this game, 79 to 60, dropping them to 4-19 overall, 1-9 in conference. Alcorn improves to 6-17 overall, 6-4 in conference. Just Alcorn basically led this game by 10 at the half. Second half, they basically extended their lead. Not really a game that was really close. I mean, they only had one tie and one lead change in this game, so really Alcorn pretty much led this game. Pretty much at wire to wire. They led 37-27 at the half. Then, like I said, they outscored the Golden Lions 42-33 in the second half. Dr. Bradley finished with 15 points on the night. He was 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 7 from the line. He had 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 6 steals. So a solid game for him in a losing effort. But it's kind of like when you look at his numbers, they're kind of empty. He's been able to put up some numbers here and there, but he's basically doing everything for this team. And nothing's really going right for these guys. Christian Moore, Chop Paylor had 12 points on the night, 4 of 10 from the field and 14 from three. He finished with one steal. Golden Lions finished with 33 rebounds, 22 fouls, 13 assists, 11 turnovers, 4 blocks, and 9 steals. They shot 32% in the first half, 10 of 31, 13 of 34 in the second half for 38%, making them 23 of 65 for the game for 35%. They were 6 of 21 in the first half from three for 28%. Then they went 2 of 12 in the second half for 16%, making them 8 of 33 for the game for 24%. So that 3-point shooting really hurt them badly in this game. And that free throw shooting also killed them in this game. They were 1 for 2 in the first half for 50%, 5 of 12 in the second half for 41%, making them 6 of 14 for the game for 42%. They finished with 30 points in the paint, 19 points over turnovers, 11 second chance points, 6 fast break points, and 25 bench points. Marcus Tankersley led Alcorn with 15 points. Michael Prejo had 12. Tankersley was 4 of 8 from the field, 0 for 2 from three, 7 of 8 from the line. He also had 1 rebound, 2 assists. Prejo had 12 points and 12 rebounds, so a good double-double for him. Also 2 assists, 2 blocks, and 1 steal. He was 5 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from the line. Also, Davian Williams had 12 points, and 7 rebounds. Also had 3 assists. He was 3 of 14 from the field, 2 of 12 from two. I mean, 2 of 12 from three, and 4 of 4 from the line. Also, Jalik Gaines Wyatt had 11 points and 5 rebounds. He also had 6 assists. Really good game for him. 1 for 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from three, 8 of 10 from the line. And Dejai Benet had 10 points and 8 rebounds on the night. 5 of 7 from the field for him, 0 for 2 from the line. Um, this basically was a game that their starters basically got it done. Also, Julian Luau had 11 points off the bench. He was 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 6 from three. He also had 3 rebounds and 1 assist. So they really got it done from 6 guys. The remaining guys combined for 8 points. So their starters and basically their 6 man got all the action. They didn't really play a lot of minutes after that. So they were able to get this done with mainly their top 6 guys, shooting 46% in the first half, 13 of 28, 48% in the second half, 12 of 25, making them 25 of 53 for the game for 47%. 6 of 17 from three in the first half for 35%, 2 of 10 in the second for 20%, 8 of 27 for the game for 29%. They were 5 of 6 from the line in the first half, 83%, 16 of 21 for the second half, 76%, making them 21 of 27 for the game for 77%. They had 34 points in the paint, 13 points over turnovers, 9 second chance points, 14 fast break points, and 19 bench points. So this was a solid win for the Braves, a much needed win. Kind of keeping themselves in that mix for that middle portion of the standings as things are starting to kind of tighten up. They are not out of the second seed at all, so they are in a good spot to make a move, provided they can keep stacking together some wins. So that's really a good thing if you're an Alcorn fan, that these guys are kind of not necessarily playing great basketball, but they're playing good enough to win and they're picking up some solid wins. Our next game, Grambling goes to Montgomery and beats the Hornets by 10, 77-67. They led this game by 10 at the half, 38-28, and then both teams played to a 39-39 tie in the second half, which made the final more than 10 points. 7-16 is Grammlin's overall record. They're 4-6 in conference. Bama State drops to 9-14 overall, 5-5 in conference. Big game from Contavious Dozier. This is the kind of game I've been looking for him. 30 points on the night, 3 rebounds, 1 steal. He was 9 of 15 from the field, 7 of 11 from three, 5 of 5 from the line. Huge game for him. After that, they really didn't have a lot. Mikael Stevenson finished with 15 points. He was on the other Tiger in double figures. He had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He was 5 of 12 from the field and 5 of 7 from the line. He was 0 for 2 from 3. Also, PJ Eason had 10 rebounds, and Antoine Burnett had 10 rebounds as well. Um, like I said, not a lot of scoring like not a lot of double-digit scores, only 2. Scoring was spread out amongst the team. Pretty much everybody but 3 guys that played scored. So kind of a team effort here. But Dozier definitely led the way in a game that I really been waiting for from him. When he scores like that, it makes Grambling tough to beat. So they were able to pick up a big road victory here. They got 40 rebounds on the night, 17 fouls, 7 assists, 14 turnovers, 2 blocks, 8 steals. Shot 13 of 31 in the first half for 41%. They were scorching hot in the second half, 13 of 23 for 56%, making them 48% for the game, 26 of 54. They were 4 of 11 from 3 in the first half for 36%, 4 of 8 in the second half for 50%, 8 of 19 for 42% for the game. That's one of their better 3-point shooting nights. They were 8 of 10 from the field, from the line in the first half for 80%, 9 of 11 in the second half for 81%, making them 17 of 21 for the game for 81%. Now, one of the interesting things about this Grambling number, like I said, they were 8 for 19 from 3, and Dozier was 7 of 11. So the rest of the team was 1 for 8 at 3 from 3. So that's something that gets overlooked in a win, which you don't really mind if you're winning, but you really want balance at that spot. Not everybody don't need to make 3 or 4 threes, but if you can get a couple guys that knock down threes, but they only really had 5 other guys shoot threes. Grambling is not a team that shoots a lot of threes. So, it's kind of like whoever's hot is gonna shoot them. And Dozier was the guy to really get those shot attempts from outside. They finished with 34 points in the paint, 18 points off of turnovers, 13 second chance points, 17 fast break points, and 20 bench points. This game did have 2 ties and 2 lead changes, but this was basically a Grambling win, pretty much all the way. Hornets had a more balanced scoring attack. They had 4 guys in double figures, led by Amar Knox with 17. He was 6 of 16 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, and 5 of 7 from the line. He finished with 2 rebounds and 4 assists and 1 steal. Also, TJ Matlock, 15 points and 6 rebounds. He also had 4 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals. He was 6 of 11 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, and 2 for 2 from the line. And also, CJ Hines had 11 points and 1 assist and 1 steal on the night. He was 4 of 9 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3. And Stephen Walker had 11 points, 7 rebounds. He also had he also had 1 block and 2 steals. He was 5 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. And then after that, they basically got 4 other guys scored, and 1 other guy that played did not score. So that was a pretty balanced attack. Now they didn't really play a lot of guys. They played 9 guys. So didn't necessarily go deep in the bench, but they were able to get key numbers from their starters. They were 28 rebounds on the night, so they did lose the rebounding battle big time. They had 16 fouls, 10 assists, 10 turnovers. Again, Hornets don't turn the ball over much. 4 blocks and 8 steals. First half, they shot 36%, 12 of 33. Second half, 13 to 28 for 46%, making them 25 of 61 for the game for 41%. They were 3 of 11 in the first half from 3 for 27%, 5 of 13 for the second half for 38%, making them 8 of 24 for the game for 33%. They were 1 for 3 from the line for 33% first half, 8 of 10 second half for 80%, making them 9 of 13 for the game for 69%. 28 points in the paint, 24 points over turnovers, 10 second chance points, 7 fast break points, and 10 bench points. Again, this was a team that didn't really play a lot of guys and didn't get a production from more than their top 5 guys. So they got it with their starters. Um, and kind of came up short there. So we'll see how they bounce back on Monday. Our next game that we have is FAMU going to Houston and knocking off the Tigers by a score of 66-64. Rattlers led this game by 4 at the half, 32-28. TSU did outscore them 36-34 in the second half to make the final margin 2 points, 66-64. Rattlers moved to 9-12 and 6-4 in conference. Tigers dropped to 10-13, 7-3, 7-3 in conference. Kind of looking at this game, like I said, this was kind of a game that both teams really had their chances. Um, this game had 8 ties and 8 lead changes. So it was a spirited game. FAMU did jump up on TSU early. Um, they would lead at 1 point 24-15. They were up by 9 with about 8.5 left in the first half. Got their lead up to 10 and then up to 11 with about 5:57 left in the first half. They were up 30-19 before TSU kind of chipped away at it, got it down to 4 at the half. So they kind of cut into it late, went into the half down by 4. But the Rattlers pretty much led that whole first half. Second half, TSU chipped their lead down. Rattlers got it back up to 9 at 40-31 with 16:11 left in the game. TSU was able to kind of cut into the lead a little bit. Got it down to 4 with 11:14 left. Then they got it down to 2 with 10:41 left in the game at 43-41 at the couple free throws by Farouk. Rattlers would build that lead back up to 6 at 47-41 after a couple at the free throw at the 2 free throws by Jermaine Charles. Tigers would cut it down to 3 again at the Farouk 3-pointer. Rattlers get it back up to 5 at 49-44 with 7:55 left in the game. Tigers cut it down to 3. Then they tied it up at 3. They tied it up at 49 with 6 6:28 left in the game after Zaire Hayes 3-pointer. And then we kind of went back and forth. TSU actually took a 3-point lead at 52-49 after a 3-point play by Farouk. Rattlers tied the game back up at 52. Tigers go up by two. Rattlers go up by three. I mean, go up by one after a 3-pointer by Milton Matthews. Tigers go up by three after Zaire Hayes 3. Jermaine Charles ties the game up at 57. That was with 4:39 left. Rattlers go back up by two after a couple free throws by Caleb Washington, 59-57. Tigers tie the game up again after McLean made two free throws, tie the game up at 59 with 3:08 left. Um, Rattlers go back up by two, 61-59, with 2:49 left in the game after two free throws by Charles. Game gets tied up again at 61 after Zaire Hayes made a jump shot. Rattlers take a 1-point lead, 62-61, with a minute and 40 left in the game. They go up by two after two. They go up by three after two Roger Coffee free throws to make the score 64-61. And then TSU would tie the game up at 64 after a 3-pointer by McLean. And then the Rattlers would get a Milton Matthews layup with 3 seconds left in the game to basically win this game at 60. Win this game 66-64. This was a very good game. Both teams really battled it out the whole way. This is a matchup I wouldn't mind seeing in the tournament. These two teams seem like they're kind of matching up pretty evenly. And FAMU's playing, they're playing good ball now. Yes, their winning streak is over, but they did have a good bounce back win on the road. So this team is a team that's gonna be a factor in the tournament. I don't think they're a flash in the pan. They could have folded after dropping that heartbreaking loss to Bama State on Monday, but they came back, turn around and go on the road and pick up a big victory. They were led by Milton Matthews with 19 points. He had 3 steals, 1 assist, 6 rebounds. He was 7 of 15 from the field, 5 of 12 from three. Also with 15 points was Caleb Washington. He had 3 rebounds and 3 assists. He was 6 of 16 from the field, 1 of 5 from three, 2 of 2 from the line. Also, Jermaine Charles had 14 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal. He was 3 or 4 from the field, and 8 of 8 from the line. Rattlers finished with 32 rebounds, 15 fouls, 10 of 6, 16 turnovers, 3 blocks, and 7 steals. They shot 44% in the first half, 13 of 28, 29, 8 of 22 in the second half for 36%, making them 21 of 51 for the game for 41%. 5 of 16 from three for 31% in the first half, 2 of 11 in the second half for 18%, making them 7 of 27 for the game for 25%. They were 1 for 2 from the line for 50%. 6 of 18 in the second half for 88%, making them 17 of 20 for the game for 85%. They finished with 24 points in the paint, 6 points off of turnovers, 7 second chance points, 4 fast break points, and 22 bench points. Like I said, game 8 ties, 8 lead changes off. Basically, most of them in the second half. Zaire Hayes led the Tigers with 14 points. He was 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6 from three, 1 or 2 from the line. He also had 1 rebound, 3 assists. Also with 14 points was Kalen Farouk. He had also had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block and 2 steals. He was 5 of 7 from the field, 1 or 2 from three, and 3 or 3 from the line. And McLean had 12 points as well, and 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Big game for him. 4 of 16 from the field, 2 of 8 from three, 2 or 2 from the line. Tigers finished with 35 rebounds, so they won the rebounding battle by 3. They had 11 fouls, 13 assists, 15 turnovers, 2 blocks, and 9 steals. They shot 13 of 34 in the first half for 38%, 42% in the second half, 12 of 28, making them 25 of 62 for the game for 40%. They were 2 of 9 from three in the first half for 22%, 5 of 11 in the second half for 45%, making them 7 of 20 for the game for 35%. They did not attempt a free throw in the first half. That's always strange, especially at home, to not get any free throw attempts. That's always strange. But they were 7 of 11 for the second half for 63%, making them 7 of 11 for the game for 63%. They finished with 34 points in the paint, 20 points over turnovers, 7 second chance points, 8 fast break points, and 25 bench points. Tough loss for the Tigers, and they dropped 2 in a row. Because they don't forget they dropped. Don't forget they lost to Pine Bluff on Tuesday. So they dropped two tough games. That they probably should have won them both. And now they're kind of in a tougher spot in the standings. But this is a team and a program that I don't really concern myself too much with how they do in the regular season. I know that they're gonna be in the mix when the tournament starts. So I'm not really worried about them too much. But Rattlers, another good win for them, as they continue to kind of keep themselves in the mix and really distance themselves from that horrible start that they had early. Um, and they're playing some good ball. Next up, we have another tight game in Texas. This time, Bethune-Cookman beat the Prairie View Panthers by a score of 85-82. Panthers led this game by three at the half, 40-37. Wildcats outscored them 48-42 in the second half to win by three. Wildcats improved to 10-13 overall, 7-3 in conference. Panthers continue to slide. They've lost 6 games in a row now. They're 4-19 overall, 3-7 in conference. This game had 9 ties and 13 lead changes. So as you can see, this game was very chaotic. Had multiple chances for both teams to win. Um, Panthers led by as much as 8 points in the first half. No, they led by as much as 11 points in the first half. They did that twice. Their last 11-point lead came with uh, 4:07 left in the first half. They were up 38-27. After Jordan Tillman made a layup to put them up by 11. Wildcats were able to go on a little run to end the half, to go into the half down by 3. And then things got a little crazy in the second half, as you can kind of see, as Bethune-Cookman was able to really make a good run coming out of the half. They actually cut the lead down to 1. Early in the first half with 18-41, they cut that lead down to 42-41 before Prairie View went up 43-41 with 18-20. Trey Thomas would hit a 3 for Bethune to give them a 1-point lead at 44-43. Panthers would go up by 2 at 46-44. Bethune would tie the game up at 46 at the Trey Thomas layup. Panthers would go up by 3 at 49-46 at the free throw by Elijah Terry, and basically a 3-point play for him. Wildcats would pull within 1 at 49-48 and get then they will get a free throw from Khalil Kamara to tie the game up at 49. Panthers would go up by 2, 51-49. Then they would stretch the lead out to 6, and then the 7 at 56-49 with 13:25 left in the game. Bethune will cut it down to 1. They will get it up to 9 with 12:39 left. Prairie View led by 9, 59-50 after Braylon Bush layup. Um, Wildcats would try to chip into it, but the Panthers would get it back up to 10 at 61-60 after 2 free throws from Elijah Terry. Then the Wildcats would go on a run and tie this game up. They would go on a 10-0 run and tie this game up in the span of like a minute and a half. And they would tie the game up at 61. They would tie the game up at 61 with 9:12 left after Jesus Martin jump shot. Then they would take a 1-point lead after a free throw by Thomas. They would extend that lead by 2. Extend that lead to 2 after Thomas made another free throw. Panthers were tied up at 63. Then Thomas would put the Wildcats back up by 2, 65-63. They would stretch their lead out to 3 at 69-66 after Kamara would make 2 free throws. Petway would knock down a free throw for Prairie to pull them to within 2. Jarrell Love would get a dunk for the Wildcats to put them up 4, 71-67. Braylon Bush would hit a 3 with 5:36 left in the game to pull the Panthers to within 1. Then they would retake the lead after tying it up at 71 after Elijah Terry made 2 free throws, giving them a 72-71 lead. Panthers would stretch the lead out to 3 at 74-71 after Petway would make a layup. They would extend the lead out to 5 at 76-71 with 3:47 left in the game after Bush made a layup. Wildcats would cut it down to 1 at 76-75 after Jesus Carlelo Martin hit a fast break layup. to put them within one. Then they would go up by two at 78-76 after Trey Thomas would hit a tray. Panthers would then go up by one after a three by Jordan Tillman. They would go up 79-78 with 156 left in the game. Wildcats were tied up after Seneca Willoughby would hit a free throw to tie the game up at 79. Panthers would fall behind by two after Trey Thomas would make a layup at 81-79. Then they would get two free throws from Jordan Tillman to tie the game up at 81. With 40 seconds left, Daniel Ruzon would make a jump shot to put the Wildcats up 83-81. Then Petway would make a free throw to bring the Panthers to within one at 83-82. That came with 2 seconds left in the game. After he missed the second free throw, they would foul, and then Corello Martin would hit two free throws to make the final score 85-82. So this was a very, very good second half, man. Like after PV stretched that lead out to 11, which they did early in the second half, they went up by 11 they went up by 10 at the 11:55 mark. From that point on, this was a very entertaining game. Bethune-Cookman really fought back hard in that second half. And, they had the opportunities to let the game slip away. Purview had the opportunity to end that losing streak, but Bethune just kept answering everything. But then Prairie would answer everything that Bethune had. This was a nice back and forth game. And just basically came down to a missed free throw. And Bethune was able to convert that free throws down the stretch and get a big victory. Trey Thomas, big game for the Wildcats. 27 points. He had 3 assists, 8 rebounds. He was 9 of 20 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3, 5 of 10 from the line. Also, Corello Martin, he finished with 17 points, 6 rebounds. He also had 3 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals. He was 6 of 8 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 4 of 6 from the line. Daniel Ruzon had 16 points. He had 8 rebounds. He also was 8 of 10 from the field and 0 for 1 from the line. So really solid number there. And this team did not play but 7 guys, so they did not go deep in that bench. That's tough. It's gonna be tough, but to maintain down the stretch. But those 7 guys, really those 6 guys, because David Onina only played 8 minutes. But those 6 guys that they played, they really contributed, and they all got it done in one way, shape, or fashion. Now they finished with 39 rebounds, 15 fouls, 16 assists, 13 turnovers, 3 blocks, and 4 steals. They shot 15 of 27 in the first half for 55%, 17 of 29 for the second half for 58%, making them a scorching 57% from the field for the game for 32 for 56. They were 4 of 9 from 3 for 44%, 2 of 8 in the second half for 25%, 6 of 17 from 3 in the second half in the game for 35%. They were 3 of 13 from the line for 23% first half, 12 of 16 in the second half, 75%, making them 15 of 29 for 51%. They finished with 48 points in the paint, 8 points over turnovers, 20 second chance points, 19 fast break points, 9 bench points. Again, had 9 ties and 13 lead changes. Tanaj Petway led the Panthers with 23 points. He was 9 of 18 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 6 from the line. He had 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Also, Braylon Bush, 20 points and 3 rebounds. He also had 4 assists. He was 7 of 11 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. And Jordan Tillman had 15 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 5 of 16 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. They finished with 25 rebounds. Panthers just don't really rebound well. They had 25 rebounds, 22 fouls, 19 assists, 9 turnovers, 1 block, 7 steals. They shot 48% in the first half, 16 of 33, 12 of 27 for the second half, 44%, making them 28 of 60 for the game for 46%. They were 6 of 10 from 3 in the first half for 60%, 5 of 10 in the second half for 45%, making them 11 of 21 for the game for 52%. Great 3-point shooting for them. And they were 2 of 2 from the line in the first half, 100%. 13 of 17 for the second half for 76%, making them 15 of 19 for the game for 78%. They finished with 30 points in the paint, 17 points off of turnovers, 4 second chance points, 5 fast break points, and 16 bench points. This was a really entertaining game. um, to keep tabs on because it was just like a back and forth thing. It looked like at any point, any team could win it. But the Wildcats were able to pull off a big road victory and help keep themselves in the mix in the standings. Final game of the day, Southern defeated Alabama A&M 81-68 to improve their record to 10-0, 15-8 in the overall record. While put Bulldogs out to 7-16 and 3-7 in conference. Alabama A&M led this game by 1.5, 34-33. Southern outscored them 48-34 in the second half, including a 15-3 run in the mid portions of the second half to kind of stretch their lead out and pull away. This was a game Southern jumped out early, but Alabama A&M was able to cut into that lead, and then they kind of went back and forth for the last couple of minutes of the second half. Um, and like I said, this was a tight game in the second half. Like I said, Alabama A&M came out the half uh, with the lead, but Southern took that lead back early in the second half, and actually went up by 7 at 41-34. Before the Bulldogs were able to cut it down to 2 at 41-39. Southern would get it back up to 4, then A&M would cut it down to 2 at 43-41. Southern go back up by 3 at 44-41. Then they would increase their lead to 5, and then to 8 at 49-41. They led by 8 with 13:35 left in the game. Before the Bulldogs were able to kind of go on a run. They cut that lead down to 3 at 51-48 with 12:50 left in the game. Southern went up by 5, and then the Bulldogs cut it down to 3 at 53-50. That came with 12:14 left in the game. Then they would cut it down to 2 at 53-51. Cut it down to 1 at 54-53. That came with 11:39 left in the game before Southern would go up by 2, and then 3. Bulldogs would cut it down to 2 at 58-56 with 10:11 left in the game. And then Southern would extend their lead up to 4. Bulldogs would cut it down to 2 at 60-58. And that's when Southern kind of went on their run. They stretched their lead out to 68-58 with 8:17 left in the game. Before they went up by their biggest lead of 13 their biggest lead at 16 at 77-61. That came with 4:59 left in the game. Before the Bulldogs kind of cut it down, and then they kind of just went back and forth between 15 and 11 points before the end of the game. So this was a tight game, basically to the halfway point of the second half. So like 30 minutes or so of basketball, this was a tight game. Looked like anybody could have won it, and then Southern went on a 15-3 run and pulled away to pick up a big victory for them on the road. Joe Manning, big game for the Jags, 8 of 8 from the field, 6 of 6 from the 3-point line. He also had 1 rebound, 1 assist, finished with 22 points. Also, Cam Ambery had 14 points off the bench, 5 of 10 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. He also had 1 rebound, 4 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals. Damari Jones had 13 points and 5 rebounds. He also had 2 assists and 1 steal. And Michael Jacobs had 12 points off the bench, 1 rebound, 5 assists. He finished 3 of 9 from the field, 1 or 2 from the line, 5 of 11 from 1 or 2 from 3, 5 of 11 from the line. Also, DeAndre Thomas had 11 rebounds and 8 points. And Southern finished with 41 rebounds, 17 fouls, 16 assists, 14 turnovers, 3 blocks, and 5 steals. They finished shooting. They finished the game shooting 51%, 26 of 51. They were 38% the first half, 38% the first half, 12 of 31. They were 14 of 20 in the second half, for 70%. So really, really hot shooting from the Jags in the second half. They were 4 of 9 for 3 in the first half for 44%, 7 of 11 for the second half for 63%, making them 11 of 20 for the game for 55%. They were 5 of 16 from the free throw line for 31% in the first half, 13 of 21 for the second half at 61%, making them 18 of 37 for the game for 48%. That number is horrible. Obviously it's nitpicking, but that free throw percentage is gonna kill you in some game. They were able to overcome it with hot shooting, but every night your threes are not gonna fall like that. Every night your shots are not gonna fall like that. Shooting 48% from the free throw line that's just not good. 26 points in the paint, 15 points over turnovers, 15 second chance points, eight fast break points, and 35 bench points. This game had 5 ties and 5 lead changes. Most of them were early. Like I said, once Southern kind of took the lead in the second half, they never really relinquished it, but A&M was able to chip into it. But Southern would always answer that and then pull away. Uh, A&M really got their production from their bench. Warren Ye finished with 17 points, 3 rebounds. He was 5 of 8 from the field, 4 of 6 from three, 3 of 3 from the line. And Bilal Abdul Rahman was he finished with 15 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, and 1 steal. He was 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line, 0 for 2 from three. They didn't get much from their top guys. AC Bryant finished with 7 points in this game. Lorenzo Downey did not score. So two of their top scorers finished with a combined 7 points on the night. They really, like I said, they really didn't get a lot from their starters. Uh, they got 23 points from their starters. So the bulk of their numbers did come from their bench, and they needed it because the starters just did not give them much. Um, only two for two for only 2 for 9 from 3 point range. Two of the starters did not make a field goal. Period. So this was just really a bad night for them. Starting wise, even AC Bryant, who's the guy who is tops in the league in blocks, he did not have. Their top guys are Downey and Bryant. They just did not give you a lot in this game. So the bench was able to keep them in it, but obviously you need your starters to produce. I only had 28 rebounds. This is a team that came into the game leading the conference in rebounding. They got out rebounded by 13. They had 27 fouls. They only had 10 assists, 13 turnovers, which is not bad for them. They had 4 blocks and 7 steals. They shot 44% in the first half, 11 of 25, 9 of 26 for the second half, and 34%, making them 20 of 51 for the game for 39%. 3 of 8 from three in the first half for 37%. They were 5 of 16 from three in the second half for 31%, making them 8 of 24 for the game for 33%. They were 9 of 13 from the line for 69% first half, 11 of 15 for the second half for 73%, making them 20 of 28 for the game for 71%. They finished with 18 points in the paint, 11 points over turnovers, 3 second chance points, 9 fast break points, 45 bench points. There's a rare occasion that somebody's bench outscores Southern's bench, but they needed it. If their bench did not show up, then they would have really gotten ran out of the gym. And that production came from 2 guys, honestly. 2 guys carried A&M in this game. They just did not get a lot from anybody. So it was, this game is honestly it's if you're A&M, you should be not happy that you lost, but you should be happy the margin was the way it was because your team did not really play well as a whole. So you were able to stay in a game that you probably shouldn't have been in. But obviously the lack of production all around really hurt them. But I still think this A&M team is a dangerous team because I think the way that the offense is and they're capable of scoring points, I think they can give you problems. And this is a game they hadn't really played to this level in a long time, where they just did not play well as a whole. So I wouldn't count them out at all. I think they're still going to be in it, to get a decent spot. And I really would not want to see them in the first round because they can block shots, because they typically do rebound well, and the fact that they shoot so many threes is always going to be a possibility that those things are going to start to fall at some point. I just think, I think with volume, your shots are going to fall at some point. But if they don't, then you're going to shoot yourself out of games. And they just did not have a good offensive game as a whole in this one. Looking at the Monday's games, Southern is at Alabama State. That's a 6 p.m. tip. Valley is at Alcorn, also 6 p.m. tip. Florida A&M at Prairie View, that's also a 6 p.m. tip. There are 3 games at 7 o'clock. Grambling is at Alabama A&M. Bethune-Cookman is at Texas Southern. And Pine Bluff is at Jackson State. Looking at the standings before we get up out of here, Southern continues to lead the conference at 10-0. They're 15-8 overall. They are on a 10-game winning streak. Texas Southern is 7-3, 10-13 overall. They've lost 2 games in a row. Bethune-Cookman is 7-3, 10-13 overall. They've won 3 games in a row. Jackson State bounces back to improve to 7-3, 7-16 overall. FAMU 6-4, 9-12 overall. They get back on the winning track. Alcorn is on 2-game winning streak. They're 6-4, 6-17 overall. And then Bama State drops to 5-5, 9-14 overall. They lost one. Gremlins back on a winning trail, 4-6, 7-16 overall. Prairie View, Alabama and them 3-7, 7-16 overall. They've lost 3 games in a row. This team has just been streaky. Um, they won two. They won two to win the season. They lost a couple. They won one. Then they just kind of a team that's just up and down. Prairie View's on a 6-game losing streak. They're 3-7, 4-19 overall. Pine Bluff 1-9, 4-19 overall. Valley 1-9, 3-20 overall. So those are our standings. And like I said, I'll have a short that I drop either tonight or tomorrow morning, where I'll give my picks for Monday's games. And that's going to do it for me, man. I'm going to holler at y'all on the rebound. Peace.